Much as I tried to forget that fateful night of our Arkham Horror review, I've been haunted by terrible visions. Were we wrong to review it poorly? Was the creature that attacked me a dream, some forgotten figment of reality, or something in between? After that, I couldn't live a normal life. I was starved for answers, my very mind wasting away. I set out to find the truth. London is an old city, and more of it has been forgotten than we shall ever know. I spent days poring over old maps that led me to the National Maritime Museum, where I communed with the anchors that have touched the bottom of the ocean. I was getting close to something. Or perhaps this was another illusion. Was I fabricating an answer, stitching together scraps of my own madness?
Oh my god, it's you! Stop it!
I looked stupidly at the box, still dressed in a Christmas jumper when it was almost February.
Shut up!
Because I was an idiot.
No, look, I don't care who your dad is or how many dimensions he straddles. You can't go around doing internal monologues for people. It's rude. And everything else I own was in the wash, so... Eldritch Horror is a cooperative game where all the players step into the brogues or high heels of an investigator in the 1930s, trying to stop the arrival of some imminent, unknowable, unspeakable, unpronounceable evil. Across the globe, portals to other worlds are opening and monsters are spilling out, and to prevent your evil god from awakening, you're going to have to seal these portals shut and solve mysteries. But that's not going to be easy. It's impossible to know in Eldritch what's going to happen, or where it's going to appear, or what to prepare for. Saving the world has never been such a pain in the arse. If that sounds familiar, it's because it was a direct quote from our Arkham Horror review 2 years ago, of which Eldritch Horror is a kind of modern update. And this is a nice bit of economic sleight of hand from publishers Fantasy Flight, because unquestionably this game would pass a paternity test and leave grumpy Arkham Horror paying child support. However, the games are different enough that Fantasy Flight can continue selling them side by side. Now, for the duration of this review, I'm going to do my best to put aside the continuing corruption of H.P. Lovecraft's fiction, which is about disempowerment and the unknowable. And these days, the same geeks that profess to love it are turning it into, what? We got like wikis that read like a bloody Pokedex, and then games that are about killing these same monsters with a pistol in each hand? It's wrong. But these days, I guess I have to accept that tentacles are big business, and if I can't do that, I'll go mad for real. Quickly then, for people who haven't played Arkham Horror, these games have a very particular appeal, which is cool stuff happens. Every card, token, every rule in these games has been painted with as much art and words as the designers can cram into them, in the interest of them snapping together in an evocative way. For example, the combat in these games is, in and of itself, irredeemably boring. You go to a place with a monster, you roll some dice to see if you lose a bit of sanity. In this case I lose 2 sanity. Then you roll some dice to see if you hurt it or it hurts you, or something in between. And that's it. It's over already. But it doesn't happen like that. Rather, it works like this. On your turn, you travel from London to Rome, crossing the continent, going there to slay the evil ghoul who lives there. And the hired muscle who travelled with you wants to help, but no, you decide to go into the catacombs beneath the city alone with your gun, because you can only take 1 card into a combat encounter. And you roll the dice. Oh no, it's not good. You fail your will check, you're going a little mad, hunting the ghoul through the city. And you make your combat check, and you don't kill the ghoul, and you're now paranoid. You're paranoid that the ghoul is following you around the world as you leave Rome. Oh, spooky. Anyway, the good news is that this is, out of the gate, a better game than Arkham Horror. Once you've set up the board and picked your characters, you can explain the game in 60 seconds, which I'll prove now. Out of a deck of 4 mysteries that are unique to your horrible, evil god, you're going to pick 3, you have to solve 3 of them, then you've won the game. Each of these is like a different act with a different thing that all the players have to do together. On your turn, you get 2 actions, which can be one of 5 things. You can move 1 space. You can pick up a train or boat ticket, which let you move further on future turns. You can rest, you can try and buy something, or you can do something unique to your character. For example, our sexy soldier Mark Harrigan here can spend an action to lose a health and force another monster on his space to lose a health, because he's crazy. Then we move on to the encounter phase, where everybody has a sexy encounter, which might be a city encounter, wilderness encounter, or a special encounter if you're on a space with a gate, with the active expedition marker, or a clue. And finally, we move on to the Mythos Phase, where we draw a Mythos card, and everybody gets screwed with their pants on as the fabric of reality tears like a cheap pair of jeans, as new side quests show up, being more things you have to do, or as the entirely hateful ongoing symbol shows up, which we'll get to in a bit. But Eldritch Horror continued to impress me after that svelte rules explanation. Probably our biggest complaint about Arkham Horror was that its central challenge was something of a crapshoot, with players ricocheting around that weirdly rectangular board like pinballs, sometimes doing well, sometimes vanishing down the game's innumerable gutters. Eldritch Horror, first off, offers dice rolls often before bad things happen to you, giving a sense of agency to your misfortune. More importantly, it plays closer to a lot of modern co-op board games. You have a number of things you need to solve, often one or two more than the number of players. You're given information as to the consequences for failure of each of these, and as a result, you can actually discuss tactics, efficiency, sort of what to do with your turns, how to cooperate. Here's the board state of a game I was playing last night towards the end. Welcome to my world. It's not really a good world, probably don't come here if you can help it. We're trying to prevent the arrival of Yog-Sothoth, some kind of sorcerer god, and you can tell from the dream track that he's about to arrive. He's going to arrive because we've got portals in Buenos Aires, Rome, London, San Francisco, Tokyo. We need to close them, but to actually win, we need to defeat the Dunwich Horror. A woman gave birth to that, that's opening more portals. There are zombies in San Francisco that are about to become a zombie horde that are going to open more portals, and weirdest of all, there are people travelling around all the expedition spaces, going through time and space, erasing all clues of Yog-Sothoth's existence. Someone needs to go there and stop them, or we'll lose the game. We've got one character here who's really good in the wilderness, one character here who's really good at beating stuff up, and one character here who's really good at buying things. Can you see that this is a puzzle? What do you think you would do to get out of it? Think, have a think, have a think, have a think. It's a trick question. We'd already lost like 2 turns ago. There was nothing we could do to win. But we had a really good time figuring it out. And arguably, best of all, you can see the world devoured in Eldritch Horror and still have room for a nice post-match hustle and a cup of tea, because this game lasts a very reasonable 30 minutes per player. Which isn't to say it's polite. Delightfully. Most of Eldritch Horror's innovations come from ways to doom its players in imaginative ways. Remember that ongoing symbol? Whether you have a debt, a debilitating illness, a monster is hatching some wicked plot, or a dozen other things, when you draw an ongoing symbol, it happens. All of it. And you're able to finally flip those conditions and see what's on the other side as your past catches up with you. More so than with Arkham Horror, this game is generous with the content and ideas that power it. And those unique mystery cards you're solving to each Elder God, they can't be understated. They make it so much easier to buy into the world, into the theme. They make one of these Lovecraft games make sense. Except when they don't, which is all the time. Let me explain what I mean, okay? Broadly, I like this game. And that's not something I could say about Arkham Horror. It is a game of some great moments when you, as an expedition leader, venture into the heart of Africa, taking other players with you, and you pull out some Chthonian statue from the ground that's the last piece of the puzzle, and you solve it, and you win the game. When you're putting down riots in Buenos Aires with kerosene. When the actress in your party pretends to be a great sorceress, and in doing so, turn after turn, eventually becomes Yog-Sothoth's favourite servant. That's fantastic. But just as often are moments when, in trying to turn Lovecraft up to 11, the writers almost undermine the entire theme by trying to cram nonsense into the cards, which are barely 30 words of storytelling. Okay, I'm leading the expedition in the Himalayas, guys. I've ducked into a cave to find shelter from a deadly snowstorm. Inside, I find a human brain inside a cylinder. Me? Oh, I'm just in Canada. You help a young woman search the countryside for her uncle. Test perception. If you pass, you find the eccentric old man and he gives you a gift! The Necronomicon. Okay guys, the bad news is that Cthulhu has risen and strides the oceans of the world like a colossus. The good news is I've been spending the whole game in Sydney, so I'm really buff and can kill him myself if we can afford the double barrel shotgun. No? Neither are you? Not even with the bank loan? Oh, okay, then we've lost. The world is devoured. And the same as this unreliable storytelling is the actual challenge. Most of the time it's okay, sometimes it's great, sometimes it's abysmal. It's easy enough to explain. The game just has a ton of moving parts, gears that are meant to turn in sequence, but often the teeth just collide and don't quite turn correctly. A really good example of this is if there's a clue token out in the ocean and you go off on a boat to find it and you have your adventure and there's a volcano and you screw it up. Then probably the most sensible thing to do on your next turn is to wait there, not do anything, and try again next turn when the volcano has now become a thunderstorm. Then the next turn, if you fail again, the volcano has become a thunderstorm, has become things landing on the deck of your ship. As you're struggling to pick up this clue token as if it was a card and you just cut your nails. And, oh my god, on the subject of the co-op not working correctly, I cannot believe they kept in all the miss a turn mechanics, which were the worst thing about Arkham Horror. To use the terminology, you become delayed. And sometimes this isn't even a punishment. Sometimes you're given the opportunity to get a weapon or spawn 2 clue tokens if you become delayed. And your friends are going to be looking at you saying, that's good, we should do that. And you say, okay, and then you can't play anymore. It's awful. For all of the improvements of Eldritch Horror, our fundamental criticism is the same. It's an engine for random horrible surprises, sometimes funny, sometimes thematic, sometimes annoying, sometimes unfair. And probably I'd rather spend my money on a game where the fun is down to me and my friends. So, should you buy Eldritch Horror? Well, obviously it's a hell of a thing. It's sprawling, yet thin. It's gorgeous, yet awkward. So whether you need it is more so than usual down to you. Whether you will notice or care about its flaws or accept it into your home as an unsmiling, wretched cardboard baby. What do you think, Eldritch Horror Box?
I shall drink deeply of your soul.
You want a cup of tea?
Do you have any soy milk?
We might do, actually. Hang on, let me check.